Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Canelo Alvarez is holding the belt hostage. Look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And Tim Bradley and Paulie Malignaggi is added back yet again, hating on Canelo Alvarez, fanboying for David Benavidez. And these guys are not coming with facts. They're coming with all feelings and opinions. Let me break this down. First off, these guys go on Pro Box TV, and that's literally the TV for hating on Canelo and rodeo riding David Benavidez. This is what I mean. You've seen Tim the Hater Bradley come out and say the sanctioning body, the WBC, is letting Canelo Alvarez hold the WBC belt hostage. You see Paulie Malignaggi say there should be a step-aside fee that Canelo has to pay David Benavidez because he's choosing not to fight his dangerous mandatory in David Benavidez. None of those things are true and none of those things make sense. Even these two clowns went on to say that Team David Benavidez should turn around and sue the WBC, should sue them for not mandating Canelo to fight David Benavidez next. They believe that they should sue. Now, that doesn't make any sense, and this is why. Because Team David Benavidez can't sue the WBC because they chose to move up in weight before the mandatory came down in March. They reached out to the WBC, said they will be moving up in weight and not fighting Canelo, and they said this before the mandatory came due in March, and they said they would be fighting someone else. And they knew that they were going to have a mandatory come due in March, and they requested before then to move up in weight and fight somebody else. Team David Benavidez had no intention of fighting Canelo Alvarez in May. They have been exposed. They've been body bagged. This has been debunked. This is all lies and narratives. And now Tim Bradley and Paulie Malignaggi look like two dumbasses sitting in the same tree because these guys talking about, oh, David Benavidez should sue the WBC. You mean the same WBC David Benavidez went to and said, hey, I'm moving up in weight and not fighting the guy that that's mandated to fight me. I'm not going to fight that guy. I want to move up in weight and fight somebody else. That doesn't make any sense. These guys look stupid, and they don't know what they're talking about. These guys are talking out of their ass just to hate on Canelo Alvarez. And make this make sense. Canelo Alvarez has not had a David Benavidez mandatory for 2 years, for 3 years, for none of that. All of that is lies and fallacies. David Benavidez was Canelo's official mandatory in March. And David Benavidez knew that mandatory was coming due in March since all of last year. So he knew that day was coming, and he still chose to make a fight at a higher weight class before the mandatory came due. I mean, these guys got to stop hating on Canelo Alvarez and find their nuts.